Brad Mack, a seasoned paranormal investigator, and his team decided to investigate one of England's most infamous locations, the Cage. This building, with its stone walls and eerie atmosphere, was once a prison, but not just any prison. Starting in the year 1580, it became the final resting place for women accused of witchcraft. Many of them met their end here, their last breath echoing through these cursed halls. The paranormal team entered with their usual equipment, prepared for anything, but even they weren't ready for what they were about to face. As soon as they began their investigation, strange phenomena started to occur. Soft, disembodied whispers seemed to follow them, chilling footsteps echoed through the empty rooms, and lights flickered without any reasonable cause. The air grew thick with an unnatural presence. Then came the physical contact. Members of the team reported feeling bites and pinches. Something unseen was toying with them. But the worst was yet to come. One team member, Vanessa, was so overwhelmed by the atmosphere that she refused to stay in the building after dark. And who could blame her? But the team pressed on, determined to make contact with whatever was lurking within those walls. Late into the night, they performed a seance, hoping to communicate with the spirit of the women who had died there centuries ago. Brad Mack, the team leader, filming from a nearby room, noticed something chilling unfolding right in front of his camera lens. As the seance deepened, one of the participants, Debbie, began to change. Her face contorted in ways that no human face should. Her nose seemed to stretch, and her mouth twisted into an unholy grin, something almost inhuman. The group was so engrossed with their seance activity that they didn't notice what was happening right beside them. Worried for her safety, Brad Mack rushed to pull Debbie out of the seance circle, but the terror didn't end there. After the session, Debbie discovered a strange burn mark running down the back of her neck. What made this even more scary is that she had been wearing multiple layers of clothing. Nothing should have been able to touch her skin, yet there it was, a mark as if something had claimed her. A few days passed. Debbie reported having disturbing nightmares and unexplained happenings around her home. Objects moving on their own, shadows lurking just outside her vision. Was it the spirit of one of the tortured souls following her, or was it something even darker, something beyond our understanding? Number 2. A bustling hospital in Malaysia, where what was supposed to be an ordinary night turned into a nightmare caught on camera. Surveillance footage from this hospital captured a terrifying ghost attack that has left both staff and investigators baffled. No one has ever been able to debunk or explain what you're about to witness. It all starts innocently enough. In an empty waiting room, a chair, sitting alone in the middle of the room, begins to move on its own. No one is nearby, and yet the chair seems to be manipulated by an unseen force. As if that wasn't creepy enough, the door to the room suddenly slams shut without a person in sight. In a separate room, a young staff member sits alone, completely unaware of the nightmare that's about to unfold. Without warning, the same ghostly force strikes again. The chair beside her moves on its own, sliding across the floor to grab her attention. Startled and understandably frightened, the girl jumps to her feet, her instinct screaming to get out of the room. But as soon as she turns to flee, her exit is blocked in the most horrifying way. Out of nowhere, tables and chairs start flying across the room, creating a barrier between her and the door. The scene is pure chaos as the furniture seems to take on a life of its own, trapping her inside. Desperate, the girl backs away, trying to escape whatever is controlling these objects. But before she can make another move, something unseen, something powerful, kicks her to the floor. She lies there, motionless, as if the spirit has overpowered her. The footage ends there, leaving us with more questions than answers. Number 3. As per usual, Japanese clips are a little too good to be true, but nonetheless, they are truly creepy. A team of journalists set out to investigate a hospital that's infamous for its paranormal activity. This hospital had long been rumored to be a hotspot for ghost photography, where spirits weren't just felt, but captured on film. And it wasn't just a myth. A man who had previously explored the same hospital with his friends claimed to have proof. He presented photographs, and there, in the group shots, eerie figures could be seen, unmistakable apparitions lurking just beside them, and photobombing their pictures. But the story doesn't end there. One of his friends, a lady, went missing after that exploration. She left home and was never found. Despite the terrifying tales surrounding the hospital, the news reporter and her crew were undeterred. They were sent to report on the haunting and perhaps catch a ghostly figure of their own. But what they didn't expect was just how real the danger would be. Before they ventured inside, the reporter shared another chilling story. Just days before, another man had been attacked by a spirit in that very hospital. He had been exploring the abandoned building when something or someone pushed him down a flight of stairs. Injured and terrified, he was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. The memory of that event should have been enough to scare off any sensible person, but not his crew. They ventured in, determined to uncover the truth. As they entered the hospital's decaying walls, they made a discovery: the camera that had belonged to the man who fell, lying in the dust at the foot of the stretcher. Curious, they powered on. The pictures stored in the camera showed twisted, ghostly figures, faces lurking in the shadows of the far corners of the hallway. Yet despite these warnings, they continued deeper into the hospital's bowels. As they explored the dark corridors, they began to experience the very same apparitions they had been warned about. The crew started to unravel. Panic set in. What began as a straightforward investigation turned into a waking nightmare. Each step deeper into the hospital felt like a step closer to madness, and even more madness as they tried to exit the hospital. The spirits weren't just showing themselves, they were playing with them, testing their limits. For the reporter, this experience was especially haunting. She was never the same after that night. Rumors soon spread that she had begun to suffer from severe mental health issues. She was tormented by nightmares, constantly hearing voices and seeing things no one else could see. Whatever she had encountered in that hospital had followed her home. It had taken root in her mind. Number 4. In September 2016, a heart-wrenching event occurred in the Philippines. Joy Alvarez, a grieving mother, was attending to the wake of her 7-year-old son, Trebi, who had passed away suddenly. The atmosphere was heavy with sorrow, and yet, in the midst of her despair, something extraordinary happened. Something that would leave many wondering if the veil between the living and the dead had briefly lifted. During the wake, a white balloon, seemingly just part of the funeral decorations, began to move. But this was no ordinary drift. The balloon seemed to have a purpose. Slowly, it floated towards Joy, moving with a strange determination. The eerie part, the balloon wasn't just following a breeze. It was moving directly from behind Trebi's coffin. It hovered across the room, headed straight for the grieving mother. Joy, lost in her sorrow, didn't notice at first, but as the balloon got closer, it became impossible to ignore. It didn't float past her like you might expect. Instead, it stopped, deliberately, almost as if it were aware of her presence. Then, the balloon began rubbing against her, as if in a gentle, comforting caress. For Joy, this was no random occurrence. Overcome with emotion, she felt that her son was with her, trying to comfort her in her grief. Tears streamed down her face as she later recalled that her son was there to comfort her. This wasn't just an illusion of a broken heart. Trebi had always had a special connection with balloons, especially white ones. Joy herself had chosen the balloon because it reminded her of him, thinking of her son as an angel now, watching over her. Number 5. Our next story brings us to Nova Trinto, Brazil, where what was meant to be a joyous Mother's Day celebration turned into something far more eerie. Melina Zunder was enjoying a quiet afternoon in her home, recording herself as she celebrated the day with a sweet Brazilian dessert, and proudly showing off the thoughtful present she had received from her son. But little did she know, something else was celebrating with her. As she cheerfully recorded her video, something happened that would later send chills down her spine. In the reflection of the mirror behind her, a pale face can be seen staring directly at Melina, almost as if someone or something was standing right in front of her. At the time, Melina didn't notice anything unusual. She went on with her day, completely unaware of the eerie figure lurking in the background. It wasn't until 2 days later, while reviewing her footage, that she saw it. The pale face, watching her from the mirror, sent a shock through her. Confused and terrified, she decided to share the video on TikTok, hoping someone could offer an explanation. The video spread like wildfire, quickly amassing over 3 million views. Viewers were stunned. Some speculated that it could have been a reflection of something in the room, a TV perhaps. But Melina quickly shut down that theory. In another video, she shows the area she was sitting at the time. Directly across from her was an open backyard. No wall, no TV, nothing that could have cast that reflection. And it wasn't her family either. Melina's husband and son were both inside the house when she recorded the video. There was no one else in the space with her. So the question remains, who or what was that face in the mirror? Was it just a trick of the light, or did the mirror come with an uninvited guest?